What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be discussing a couple of EV stocks, mainly Lucid and Rivian. So LCID and RIVN. We'll also touch on Tesla a little bit because whenever you talk about EV stocks, you got to mention Tesla. But before we do, I would really appreciate it if you all could hit the like button down below. That really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. But other than that, let's get straight into the video. So the first one we're going to touch on is Lucid, and obviously you can see they have been doing incredibly well over the past couple of months. We started covering them actually on this day when they dumped massively. We made the first video when they were around, I think, 16 or 17 bucks, discussing how this was a pipe investor release and how they would likely continue to do well in the future. They eventually did break out of this $28 resistance level that we've been talking about for a long time, and that is what led to them surging massively, as well as the fact that they were prompted on by Tesla breaking out of their $900 resistance, and that just continued the rally in Lucid stock. They continue to do incredibly well as EV stocks got money poured into them. Rivian also just IPO'd not that long ago. They were supposedly selling their IPO stock for about 78 bucks. It opened the day at 106 and has since been soaring up to heights of $179. So all of these stocks have been doing incredibly well, Lucid, Rivian, and Tesla. Now, today, however, it's a bit of a different story. Lucid is down about 6%, Rivian is down 14, almost 15%, and Tesla is actually up about 3.79%. Now, the opposite has been happening with Tesla over the past couple of days. If you take a peek, Tesla has been dumping on news that Elon is selling his shares of Tesla, at least some of his shares. About 10% of his shares are being sold, and he sold a bunch on this day when it dumped massively. I don't think he's finished selling all of his shares, but he has threatened Bernie Sanders to sell more. So you never know what's going to happen with Tesla, but we have actually been rebounding the past couple of days, which leads me to believe that potentially, as we've been rebounding in Tesla, some investors are looking to take some of their capital out of Rivian and Lucid, which you can see we're both dumping today, and maybe put it into the big kahuna, into Tesla stock, right? People who are investing in EV companies are likely splitting their money between a couple of these stocks, specifically, mostly between Lucid and Tesla, Rivian as well, even though it's a little bit newer. I think that investors are somewhat wary of Rivian just because of their extremely high market cap. You can see they have a $129 billion market cap, and they have hardly delivered any vehicles. Only about less than 100 vehicles, I believe, have been delivered for Rivian stock. Lucid, on the other hand, has just started their vehicle deliveries in October. Much lower market cap, but they did just surpass Ford's market cap, so it's also very surprising to see that Lucid has an $86 billion market cap. I personally did not quite see this coming so quickly, right? When we were talking about Lucid earlier on the channel, when we were discussing how high it might go, I was looking at 28 bucks and saying if it could break past that, then it could be running quite a bit. And when I saw it get stopped out at 40, I figured it would just consolidate there for a bit. However, we have just continued running up on this EV hype, and it's making people wonder how much higher can this go. Now, obviously, I don't have an answer that I can give you. I can't tell you it's going to stop at a specific price, but I do have some suspicions, and I don't think that this EV hype can go on forever. I think that the valuations are getting a little bit too large. Now, obviously, I'm not saying to sell your stock if you're a long-term investor. I'm still holding my stock in these companies, at least the ones that I have money in. And that's because they're long-term positions, right? I'm not worried about short-term stock price fluctuations. However, when I was taking a trade on, I believe it was Lucid, I did end up selling the swing. So I think that maybe selling your swings when you're up on big money, that makes sense, but selling long-term positions, not so much, because you never know. These things could always go the way Tesla did way back in 2020 when Tesla was absolutely soaring throughout the year. It started the year at 83 bucks, ended it around $699. So that's post-split prices, by the way. But Tesla did incredibly well in 2020. I'm sure nobody saw it coming. Obviously, Lucid and Rivian could go through the exact same thing. They could both soar up massively and then never really come down, kind of like Tesla has done. I mean, the lowest Tesla got is, well, it continued soaring up to 900 and then ended up bouncing down until it hit 550 and then continued its next leg up all the way to $1,200 per share. So Tesla's done incredible stuff, and it's not out of the question that Rivian and Lucid can as well. However, Tesla has had a big head start. They have really good self-driving technology, battery technology. They have Elon Musk on their side, who Lucid and Rivian don't quite have the same leadership that Tesla does, right? At least not to the same extent where Tesla has a very popular leader. Pretty much everyone knows who Elon Musk is, and a lot of people follow him on Twitter. And that's why when you're looking at these valuations, You're looking at Lucid, which it actually surprises me that Lucid has a $86 billion valuation and Rivian has a $130 billion valuation. I would think that maybe those should be switched a bit. I feel like Lucid is actually a little bit further ahead than Rivian, but I guess that's just what the investors are thinking right now. Maybe they just want to pump up the recent IPO. But Tesla makes the most sense to have the largest market cap. $1 trillion for Tesla is a little bit steep looking at the PE ratio, but they are definitely growing quickly. And I think that over time they will justify that. However, you can also see another reason why I think that potentially Lucid should be a little bit more valued than Rivian is because if you look at the Google Trends data, you could see that Tesla is obviously in red right here, the number one search stock on this chart. Lucid is in blue and Rivian is in yellow. And Lucid is actually, for the most part, trending above Rivian. So people are actually more interested in Lucid stock, at least on the internet, potentially because it's been trading for longer. But people are certainly searching for Lucid stock more. That's not necessarily the same on Ape Wisdom. Rivian is actually the number one trending stock on Reddit right now for whatever reason, likely because it's an IPO and it has almost doubled over the course of just a couple of days, right? From lows of 95 up to highs of 179. It is no surprise that Rivian is the number one trending stock on Reddit, right? But Lucid is number 2 and Tesla is number 4. Tesla was at number 1 at one point, but since it's been waning in price a little bit, since there's been a little bit of volatility and it hasn't just been straight up, not as many people have been posting about it. People tend to post on Reddit mostly when stocks are moving up. That's why Prog is right here. Prog is a short squeeze stock that's doing incredibly well. And I think that over the long term, all of these companies are going to do much better than they currently are. I think that, if we look back at these in 10 years, these will be very small prices to pay for them, especially 10, 20 years out. I think that these companies will be doing incredibly well. However, that is a long ways off. And in the short term, I think that Lucid and Rivian and even Tesla might be slightly overvalued, especially Tesla considering the fact that Elon Musk is thinking about selling more Tesla stock. We really have to watch out for that with an inflation in the free float, right? We don't want to see too many more shares coming onto the market. Obviously, if Elon wants to sell, he's going to sell. But I think that we've got to watch out for a little bit of a pullback in all of these EV stocks. I think it's very possible that they could be pulling back soon. Obviously, that's not a guarantee. It's just a suspicion I have. It's impossible to determine exactly when the peak in this EV spike is going to be. They've been running for a long time, but we are getting very close to, with Lucid at least, a top that we've seen in the past. Lucid actually topped out around $60 in the past, and you could even draw a little line right there. And if you look at the day on Lucid, we did actually have a double top around the same level, around $61 is where we topped out, just over $60 per share. So it's possible that Lucid has actually reached the peak that it's going to. It might dip a little bit further, not a guarantee, but this certainly doesn't look good on the chart, right? Seeing that we have hit this old time resistance level, which you can't actually see because it was in pre-market that we hit it, but imagine this bar goes up a little bit higher and then bounces off. That certainly isn't a good look. If this red wick was up to all the way over here, wouldn't be looking great for Lucid. Rivian, on the other hand, I think that this is following a pattern that we've seen with a lot of recent IPO stocks, much like Hood, right? Robinhood stock. If you take a look at that chart, you can see a very similar thing where we just pump up massively and then wane away a little bit and start to fall back towards more IPO levels. I think the same thing could happen with Lucid. I'm not trying to bash these stocks. I obviously like EVs. I just think that over the short term, at least, they might be a little bit overextended. Even Tesla, with all of the news that Elon's potentially selling more shares, I would watch out for these. That's just my opinion, though. It's not financial advice. I'm not trying to convince anyone to buy. I'm not trying to convince anyone to sell. I'm just trying to give you guys my opinion on these EV stocks based off of what I've seen market cap-wise and technical analysis-wise, as well as trend-wise, right? On Reddit and StockTwits and Google, these stocks are all really highly ranked. People are searching for them. I think that if that hype starts to go away, I mean, it can't continue forever, then we might start to see a little bit of a decrease in price. And that decrease in price could indicate to traders that the top has already been put in, and they may then sell their shares, and that could lead to a decent falling of price. So I'm not trying to say that these stocks are going to crash. Obviously, they could go much higher. It's tough to say when the exact peak is going to be, but it certainly looks like we have formed a couple of peaks already if you're looking at the charts. So other than that, guys, that's what I have to say about these stocks. I like them all. I think that over the long term, they're going to do great, but I am a little bit worried about them in the short term. And once again, none of this is financial advice. I'm just giving you guys my opinion on it. So other than that, have a great day. Feel free to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel and all that, but have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.